synapses in the internet underground. Everyone knows who I am. The world is my chessboard and war is the tool of the game. Don't hate me, I'm just a messenger. Say what you want about me, but I speak the truth. The truth, the truth. Fuck you. Fuck yeah.
Well, how's it going, folks? And thank you for tuning in with me to another edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. I'd like to ask everybody to please spread the show across the internet and throughout the world. And let everybody know that the True Capitalist Radio Show, episode 768, is now live right now. And we are live. We're going to start doing this every Monday, all right, 5 p.m. Central Standard United States, Texas time. So once again, episode number 768. Let's go ahead and continue here. We got a lot to talk about on this True Capitalist Radio Show. The reason I'm bringing it back on a more frequent basis is because our country is in dire straits, and I feel that it's, against my own interest if I don't say something about it. So anybody who's listening out there, I do appreciate it. Cheers to all of you. Thank you, Goatler, for the bucker over there at Rumble, and Old Man Frank, thank you for the bucker, even though you're talking trash. And cheers to Trash Man with a $5 Rumble ramp. Thanks for the TCR. Hey, thank you, and I appreciate everybody for being here. But once again, every Monday, 5 p.m. Central Standard United States, Texas time. And if we get enough support for the show, I may do it twice a week, but we'll see what happens, all right? So anyway, let's go ahead and get this episode 768 started, and let's do it right now. Now, let's go to the markets. It's how we begin every True Capitalist Radio broadcast. All right, the markets, topsy-turvy. No one knows what to do. Everybody still believes that we're in this bullish market when clearly the signs are saying that it's barely hanging on for dear life. All right, and the only thing keeping it alive every time I go through the markets is the retail investors that still are on that high post-COVID when everything was at the bottom during COVID and everybody was saving their money during the whole fucking lockdowns and all that. And people were bored. They got on the internet. They found out how to trade stocks, and all of a sudden they made some money trading stocks, and they can't stop. All right? I mean, it's like a fucking addicted gambler. They cannot stop. There's no rational reasoning at all in this market, and I can't believe people are still investing in it. All right, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. Dow Jones Industrial is up, God knows why, up 0.26%, closing out the Dow at 53,417.16 points for the Dow Jones Industrial. We've got the S&P 500. It is down modestly, down 0.28%. Closing the S&P 500 at 7,652.86 points for the S&P 500. And then we've got the NASDAQ. It is also down 0.67%, closing out the NASDAQ at 25,980.19 points for the NASDAQ composite. Now, let's go ahead and take a look a little bit at oil here and the commodities. Let's go ahead and do that now. Now, we're seeing a decrease in oil. I have no idea why, because I'm starting to believe that oil supplies are going to be crunched, especially after the announcement today by the Secretary of Treasury about these extreme sanctions against Iran, which we're going to talk about later on in the broadcast. But then you've got the situation going on in Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine is hitting up all the resources of energy, whether it comes down to refinery, oil production, and it's definitely hurting that economy. So I'm starting to believe that we're going to have a shortage in oil unless something pans out, but it doesn't look promising. But currently, oil is down today. It is down 2.36% on the day. Current price for WTI sweet crude is $85 per barrel of WTI sweet crude. Now, of course, Brent crude is the oil that's consumed by the rest of the world. It is also down today, 2.47%, closing out Brent crude at $92.05 per barrel of Brent crude oil. Now, as I was stating, folks, the war's going on. I mean, we are producing oil. I mean, that's one thing that I can give the administration credit for, is that domestic production is at an all-time high. As I mentioned many shows, the problem is we don't have the refineries necessary in order to break oil down or refine it into gasoline. And that's really why we're not seeing gasoline prices go down as the administration promised during its 2024 campaign, because they can't do it. They can't do it because we don't have the refinery system. And unfortunately, this goes back several administrations for not attempting to give the proper permits or, the governmental authority for people or companies to be able to build such a refinery. It takes about 10 years, all right, to make a refinery. And, it's not going to get any better until we get more refineries online, which ain't going to happen for at least a decade. So if you're expecting any kind of decrease in oil being reflected by the gasoline price, it's not going to happen. All right. So anyway, we're seeing a little bit of a downtick when it comes to general oil and energy, with the exception of UK gas prices. As you can see, EU-UK gas prices are going through the roof, and part of that has to do with what the United States is doing with Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. All right, but let's get to the metals, shall we? The metals! Let's get to the goddamn metals. Now, you all have been witnessing that we're seeing an uptick in gold and silver, even though you've got a lot of folks out there who believe that, I don't know, we're going to cut interest rates, even though Trump has been mouthing it off. I don't think that we can. I don't think that we can afford to. But let me go ahead and give you the price rundown on gold and silver before I get into the soliloquy on why we're seeing some very good investment intrigue into the gold and silver markets. Right now, gold is up $51.59 on the day. Current price for gold is $4,659.03 per troy ounce of gold. And silver the same way. It is up 13 cents on the day. Current price for silver is $69.07 per troy ounce of silver. Now, why are we seeing increases on silver when supposedly the administration is putting out numbers that are not as devastating as many of us that are really feeling the reality of all the totality of the economic, political, and foreign policies of this country? Why isn't it being reflected in the numbers? I don't believe the numbers that are being put out by this administration. I don't believe anything that this administration is saying. They're saying, they're giving us one fucking explanation, and the reality of it is the complete opposite. Now, you have Trump, who's been touting how he wants low interest rates. He nominated and approved this new Federal Reserve Board chairman. And this Federal Reserve Board chairman, I don't think is going to play ball. I don't think so. I mean, he can't afford to. The Federal Reserve cannot afford to lower rates at this rate in which prices of everything is going up. And the reason prices of everything are going up, just as I said they were in 2024, the policies that were being promoted in 24 was an absolute diagram of what I said was going to happen, because we've done it before. I say this every show. We did this shit in the 30s, and take a look at what happened. Take a look at what happened. Now, something interesting happened, but before I get to that, the Fed, all right, is hinting, officials on the Federal Reserve Board are hinting that there may be an increase and it may be necessary. Why is it necessary? Well, folks, I don't know if y'all heard some time back, I think this was like last week or so, that the Treasury moved to go and intervene into the Japanese currency markets. Here it is right here. All right, the U.S. Treasury intervenes to support the yen after Japan steps in. Now, why the hell did the United States go in and purchase a bunch of Japanese yen, Japanese bonds? Because the yen right now is in a crisis that is near the Argentinian currency levels, which is pretty fucking bad. Now, the Japanese are going to have no choice in order to be able to save whatever's left of their currency, the yen. They're going to have to sell U.S. treasuries. And they have been doing it, and they've been doing it in incremental process. And as a result, that's why we've been seeing high treasury yields when it comes to the bond market. All right? High yields means bad news for the United States because it means nobody wants to buy our debt. So what Besant, or somebody decided, I guess it's Besant, they decided that we're going to use some financial trickery in order to prop up not only the yen, but also prop up the dollar. Now, what the United States Treasury did is bought the Japanese yen. All right, we bought a whole bunch of it, about $5 to $10 billion worth, but we did not use the United States dollar. We didn't use the United States dollar, and behind the absolute backs of the Euro Bank, the EU Bank, the EU Central Bank, we used euros to purchase the yen as opposed to using our own U.S. dollars to do it. Now, this is a very controversial move because we didn't notify the EU Central Bank that we were going to purchase a bunch of Japanese yen, Japanese bonds, in the currency of the EU. We didn't notify them, so to say that they were a little upset is an understatement. But this was done to prop up the yen in order for Japan not to sell U.S. treasuries. Now, in response to that, because we are having a horrible situation going on in the bond markets where we're having to put high yields in order to entice folks to purchase our debt. So Besant today, or actually yesterday, decided that he is going to tap into the Treasury General Account, the TGA, in order to start buying back some of the some of the long-term bonds in order for it to guarantee a certain yield, because now what we're doing is we're now resetting our own yield by buying back our own treasuries in order to entice folks to purchase our fucking debt. So this is some financial trickery in order to offset any currency crisis, which is actually looming at any moment. And this is why I'm telling you the Fed may be forced, all right, to raise interest rates in order to offset all the financial trickery that is going on with the Treasury, because they're responding to the side effects of their policies. This has nothing to do with anything organic coming out of the world economy. This is purely done because of the current policies of this administration, which I tried to tell you all in 24. Y'all that were here listening to me back then on TCR, you all know I predicted this crap. And now we're going to reap the whirlwind, and I'm telling you, it's not good. All right, it's not good, and I think people need to be prepping, and a part of the prepping is people going into gold, silver, even some of the... Why do you think you saw crypto go up, which we'll talk about in a minute? All right, because there are people that are recognizing that this currency crisis could be major, and you got to be putting your investments into diversified arenas. All right, so in my opinion, the only thing that the Fed can do is to raise rates at this point. All right, and this is, by the way, not just because of the bond currency crisis that we're currently having here, but also because we've got to recall some of the money back that we printed during post-COVID. I mean, there is so much American currency circulating in the American market that that's part of the reason. Part of the reason, not all the reason, But that's part of the reason why we have such inflation post-COVID. The reason that the prices are going up now is because of the policies and also the inflation. So there is no other way to at least attempt to go into a direction that'll help us, at least in the long term, without the Federal Reserve raising rates. And if the Federal Reserve doesn't raise rates and it decides to cut, we're in some bad trouble. We're going to see hyperinflation like we've never seen before. And I don't think the American public is prepared for that. As a matter of fact, I said on last show that the American public is, in a debt crisis. That's why liquidity is drying up on the general consumer market, because many people have already bled themselves dry of any kind of savings. They have upped their debt to all-time high levels. Not looking good. So this is why I've been saying for the past couple of years, ever since 2024, that you better start saving your United States dollars, because at some point, there's not going to be that many circulating. And those that have a good cash hoard are going to be living rich, or whatever that means, a high lifestyle, a luxury lifestyle, as opposed to the majority of the American public, which are indebted that probably no honest man can pay. So we're in some serious trouble. All right. And whether people want to believe it or not, because look, most of America from the millennials downward are all living in fantasy land. I mean, all these people believe that the fucking comic book characters are real. All right. They believe fucking two-dimensional animation cartoons of little girls in fucking short skirts are real. I mean, that's why there's no reality being viewed on the markets at all. At all. And it's going to come to a devastating end, because, as I've stated, the higher these indices go in the stock market, all right, I mean, we're at 50,000 plus Dow Jones Industrial, 25,000 plus NASDAQ. The higher it goes, the harder the fall is going to be. Because, look, it's not just investors that are going to be losing money in this crash. People's retirements are tied to this. All right, people's retirements are tied to this, and it's going to be a fucking mess. Believe me. Now, the problem is that no one knows when it's going to happen, because, we've printed out too much money. We have never had this much money circulated in the American market, and we've never had this many retail investors in the market as well. So we have no idea when the hell this is going to come to an end, but it's going to at any moment. All right. And old man Frank, thank you very much for the bucker over there at Rumble. And Red Eyes Black Dragon, Trump said he was going to fix this shit back in 2016. Well, I believe that he was. And I think that he was on the verge of doing it until Epstein got suicided, Ghislaine Maxwell got arrested. And as a result, we went right into COVID. I'm really shocked that most people forgot that Trump was the one that brought us into this COVID nonsense. He was the one that brought Fauci and had Fauci dictate what the hell the American people were going to do. I'm just really surprised by that. But I do remember, Red Eyes Black Dragon, that he did campaign on this in 24. The solutions that he provided, which was protectionism, tariffs, fucking anti-immigration, all that shit has literally reflected on the height of prices on everything. On everything. So that's why we're in trouble. And by the way, Murky Long, I appreciate the buy me a coffee message. I'm not going to read it, all right? Thank you very much. Anyway, as I was stating, let's go ahead and continue on. And hold on, Mad Thad, you just hooked it up. Let's keep our waifus out of this. MAGA till we die. Yeah, I wonder how you're living there, Mad Thad, all right? I wonder how you're living, because everything is going up, including anime, all right, because of the tariffs and shit. So great. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at some commodities here before we move on. As we can see, everything is kind of topsy-turvy a little bit, depending on the consumption of the consumers. Remember, there's a lot of people that are now, because prices are too high on certain commodities, are not even buying them. They're not even buying them anymore, so that's reflected on whatever decrease that we're seeing across the board. But as I read on the last broadcast, as you can look in this year-to-date, year-to-year, everything is green with double digits. All right, the only thing that isn't is orange juice because it inflated last year because of the natural disasters that we had in the areas that produce orange juice. And as a result, we had a major spike last year that is now coming down this year. But this is everything that we purchase in the supermarket, all going up. Remember, Trump said that he was going to bring these prices down. And guess what? He's trying in a communistic capacity. Now, let's talk about beef and livestock because this is very important here. Okay? Livestock now is going down. Look at these prices. Everything is going down. Why? Well, folks, you would think that Trump decided that he was going to make some incentivized program in order for the beef producers, for them to kind of wake up and start producing. No. Guess what? He's going to import fucking hundreds of tons of poverty beef from God knows where. All right, we're assuming Argentina. All right, we're assuming Argentina because we bailed out Argentina. Remember, that was one of the first actions that Trump did, was bail out Argentina for $60 billion. I think that was part of that big, beautiful bullshit bill or whatever. But Trump says he has a beef deal. Here are 5 unanswered questions, okay? First question, where are the countries, where's this coming from? Where's the beef coming from? And by the way, this is going to devastate whatever fucking domestic ranchers and domestic farmers that produce beef. This is going to devastate them. All right, because this is literally flooding beef onto the market, in which the market, as far as the beef herd size, is the lowest it's ever been since like World War II or some shit. All right, and now that you've got Trump unloading all these hundreds of tons of poverty beef into the market, it's going to dissuade any potential ranchers from continuing on or new ranchers from coming in and being part of the market. Now, something interesting that he did say here recently, he did bring up the fact that he's gonna bring in this poverty beef probably from Argentina. All right. Now, something very interesting about Argentinian beef, which is why I have always said it was poverty beef, even while some of you were like, well, it produces some of the best beef in the world. Yeah, it used to, before that disgusting, despicable moron who looks like a Three Stooges character, Maya Lee, came into power and literally made the country, which was already in dire straits as it was, made it even worse. Made it even worse. And by the way, here's Trump on Air Force One being asked this question about the poverty beef. All right, and listen to Trump's response. Remember, all of you MAGA-tards voted in this fucking prostate-infected piece of shit in order for him to put America first. Well, take a look at this, all right? Put the PC shut on. Hear this.
The question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are a top
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything.
Argentina's fighting for its life. I wish a fucking reporter would have rebutted this and say, oh, yeah, well, then we gave them $60 billion in 2025. Where the fuck did that go? All right, we bailed out Argentina, all right, $60 billion, and this guy's now coming across as Argentina's falling apart. Then why the fuck did we give them $60 billion? And by the way, that's his response when he talks about the ranchers and the farmers that are concerned about this son of a bitch throwing a bunch of poverty beef into our markets, for Christ's sake. I mean, I tried to tell you people this in 24. Of course, you people thought you knew better. And unfortunately, that's the bad part about America. I don't know if we're going to break out of this, but America, with all due respect, the majority of the American people are dumb fucks that think they know everything. And those are the most dangerous people. As you can see, this is what they're doing here. Play the rest of this.
Think about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means?
Who
they
cares?
Have no money. They have no anything.
I don't give a fuck about Argentina, all right? I mean, the whole reason why Argentina's fighting for its life is because their own stupid people voted in stupid fucks that did stupid shit, all right? Kind of like what we're doing here in America. Now, why the hell do I or you or anybody should give a shit about Argentina when $60 billion of our tax dollars went to bail them out last year? If they're dying, where did that fucking money go? Where did the $60 billion that we gave Argentina, where the hell did it go? Probably in Miley's pocket, if you want my fucking opinion, all right? Probably in Miley's pocket. But this is the response that you're getting from the president, all right? That, hey, look, if the fucking farmers or the ranchers have a problem with it, Argentina is falling apart, all right? And by the way, this should interest everybody, all right? Because everybody tries to, especially you dumbass MAGA-tards, you try to justify it. Well, he's trying to bring down the price of beef. The beef's very high right now. He's got to bring, he's doing the best he can. Doing the best he can. Let me tell you something. China, okay, which, by the way, have you ever seen video of the Chinese food markets? Have you ever seen them? The Chinese street food markets, they eat anything. They eat cockroaches on a stick. They eat seahorses on a stick. They eat bats, for Christ's sake. All right, they eat anything. They eat anything. And yet, China, take a look at this, rejected Argentinian beef due to chloramifricol, or whatever the hell that fucking stupid fucking chemical is called. All right? Now, what the hell is chloramifricol? Or what a chloramiphen call? What the hell is this shit? And why would China, of all people, reject beef coming in from Argentina because of this chloramiphenicol, whatever the fuck it's called, all right? Well, this chemical, or whatever it is actually not good for the human consumption. And as a matter of fact, what's in this Argentinian poverty beef, which is why China rejected it, and the reason they rejected it is because chloramiphenicol actually induces bone marrow into withering away into nothing. Withering away into, it causes disintegration of the bone marrow, which is why you have China rejecting it, and yet Argentina, quote unquote, from Trump, fighting for his life, is going to dump all this disgusting toxic poverty beef on the American public. Okay? So yeah, America first, huh? America fucking first. And Red Eyes Black Dragon with a couple of rumble rants. We're just importing beef from a bumfuck Argentina, gross ass jungle beef, and proud the Montana ranchers are left with just cow shit. And of course, Red Eyes Black Dragon, America first, more like Argentina first. It seems like everybody else first but America, all right? Everybody else first but America. So anyway, as I was stating, all right, Trump about to fucking dump all this hundreds of tons of poverty beef that has this chemical in it that induces the disintegration of bone marrow, all so that we can help Argentina, which, as I mentioned earlier, we already gave them $60 billion to bail out their bullshit fucking economy last year. What happened to that money? What happened to that money? So anyway, that's one of the questions. Where is the beef going to come from? Probably Argentina and other poverty places that don't have any kind of oversight into the production of their livestock. And also, who made the 25% below market price commitment? Because that's one thing that Trump said. He's going to bring in this poverty beef, and it's going to be 25% less than the market price of American beef. No shit. Who's going to eat that price? Is it going to who's going to fucking benefit? Is it going to be the meat packers, which are the fucking culprits behind why the beef prices are so high in America as it is, or is it going to be the consumer? I doubt it's going to be the consumer. I think it's going to be the 25% below market price as it pertains to the meat packers that are going to benefit from this. All right? And what does 25% below current market prices mean anyway? You know what this means? All this planning of the economy, all Trump bringing in poverty beef, claiming that it's going to be 25% below the market, it's communism. All right? Just as I said it was going to be back in 24. I've said it before. Go take a look at the 2024 episodes of True Capitalist Radio. I've got an episode, Maga Communism. And you morons thought it was nuts. You people thought that I didn't know what I was talking about. This is communism right here, where central authority dictates the price, dictates winners and losers. That's what the fuck this is. That's what this is. So congratulations, all of you that fucking voted this in. You all are fucking pieces of shit because y'all voted in communist with the guise of being anti-communist. Now, will the American shoppers get a discount? Probably not. Probably not. And if you are going to get a discount, I'll speculate that it may not even be real beef. All right? And why do I say that? Well, very interesting thing here. Very interesting thing. I don't know if y'all heard about this. The Trump administration is enabling a systematic slaughtering of thousands of wild horses. All right? Young horses are being sent into the slaughterhouse pipeline. So whatever meat that you're getting that may or may not be discounted, it may or may not even be from a fucking cow. You may be eating horse meat. All right? This is fucking communism at its finest. All right? Because first of all, it dictates what the government is going to give or feed to the people, okay, first and foremost. Secondly, it pretty much systematically disintegrates our farming and domestic ranching capabilities. All right, this is exactly what fucking communism does. This is what every communist leader has done. All right? This is what every communist leader has done, and that's why all of you people that are still MAGA at this point, y'all might as well put up you might as well put up pictures of Vladimir Lenin and Mao Zedong and Ho Chi Minh in your fucking house. All right? So there you go. All right? So we don't even know if we're going to be eating real beef anymore, especially the discounted prices. So enjoy your horse meat, MAGA. All right? Enjoy your fucking horse meat. You fucking morons. I blame each and every one of you that voted for this schmuck back in 24. You all are culprits in the destruction of our country. You know that? And anybody who knows somebody who is proudly touting that they were going to vote for Trump in 2024, you need to spit in these people's faces, dude. Because these people are trash. All right? Because they're ignorant, dumb fucks that thought they knew everything. Look at us now. And what did I say right after the election? What did I say the day after election? I said, when you're suffering, I want you to think of me because I told you sons of bitches so. And guess what? You thought you knew better. You thought you fucking knew better. And Red Eyes Black Dragon, be grateful that the great leader, Commissar Trump, eat your slop and be grateful. Yeah, that's what they want, Red Eyes Black Dragon. That's what they want. Now, who has criticized the deal? Obviously, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association has criticized it. The move would throw cold water on the prospect of herd expansion and sacrifice long-term stability for short-term messaging. All right, so nobody in America is for this, but hey, you schmucks voted this in, and Trump has a mandate until you vote somebody else in, which is not looking good because what's the alternative? The fucking Democrats, which are going to take the precedent that has been set by Trump and roll with it. They're not going to pull back this precedent of central authority from Trump. That's why none of these fucking Democrats are going at Trump in these ridiculous centralized decision makings that he's doing because they want to get in there. They want to do it. So this is where we're at right here. So that's who's criticized the deal. No American is for it. All right. So enjoy your poverty beef. All right, each and every one of you that voted this fucking shit in, enjoy your poverty beef. It might even be horse meat. Anyway, let's go to cattle feeder. It is down today, 0.64%. Live cattle down also, 1.35%. And look, it's been going down, all right, because this poverty beef is going to be flooded in the market. All right, so here we are. That's what we're doing. Now, I've got some questions from people. Ghost, you keep saying that the market is not good. You just talked about the treasuries. I mean, hey, isn't AI going to keep the market afloat? Well, I don't think so. As a matter of fact, I think people are getting AI fatigue, if you want my opinion, because many people thought that AI was going to be the answer to everything. It's nothing more than a glorified search engine. Now, I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. It makes searching a lot easier, but that's about it. That's about it. And look, this is a big indicator that the AI bubble might be bursting here. Take a look at this. Anthropic's best AI model struggles to attract users as cheaper tools thrive. All right? And this is the reason this is so important is because, let me tell you, this company, Anthropic, which owns Claude, they plan on doing an IPO And the fact that they can't get people to use their models anymore suggests that this may be the beginning of the end. Now, that's, what your rational mind would suggest to you. But as I mentioned on the last TCR broadcast last Monday, you've got NVIDIA, for some fucking reason, going out and taking out a $5 billion loan. A $5 billion loan for what? I mean, if NVIDIA, which is trading at 800 times its earnings or whatever the hell it is, because of the supposed profitability that they've had and the long-term growth that they had, why are they taking out a loan for $500 billion? Because they are the ones that are going to keep this fucking stupidity going. Look at this. Wall Street is counting on NVIDIA to keep the AI party going. All right? NVIDIA's results should send shockwaves through the tech sector and broader stock market. And what they're talking about in here is the $500 billion they're taking out as a loan in order to fucking hot potato that, like they've been doing with the same 50 billion or 100 billion they've been doing here for the past 2 years. And that's really where the growth is. The growth isn't in actual products sold. It's actually these stupid deals in which the tech companies are throwing hot potato type of, here's this 100 billion, we're going to throw it into ChatGPT. And then ChatGPT throws 100 billion into Microsoft. And Microsoft throws that same 100 billion. It's the same shit. All right, it's the same shit. And this 500 billion that's being taken out by NVIDIA is expected to keep the market afloat while everybody is, I'm talking about at the top, fund managers, CEOs, big time stock holders and shit, they're incrementally selling it off for what? For United States currency. United States currency is being accumulated by the top while everybody at the bottom is not only spending whatever currency that they earn or they get, they're putting themselves in debt in all kinds of capacity. There's so many ways to put yourself in debt. Credit card debt, secured loans, pay later, all those fucking debts. So this is where we're at. I do believe that the end is nigh when it comes to the stock market. All right? And like I said, even Michael Burry, who predicted the last crash, he's been expecting a crash this time around. But like myself, it's just a matter of timing. I mean, we have never experienced the amount of currency that has been circulated since COVID, all right? I mean, I think that 60% of the currency that we're seeing circulated in the American market was printed post-COVID. So, look, I warn you, if you've got a majority of your net worth in the market, get the fuck out. Get it out of a brokerage. Get it out of a brokerage, because I don't think, look, as high as these indices are, if we take a 40% crash, I don't think brokerages are going to allow you to fucking either sell or buy. They've already kind of touched on that. I mean, you've seen a lot of brokerages that, refuse to buy or sell certain stocks. That happened during SpaceX. That happened during a couple of IPOs. That's just the beginning. All right? They will not allow you to take out your currency out of the brokerage if it means the brokerage will become insolvent. So I'm telling you all right now, you all better get ready. I don't have much money in brokerage. I've got a few stocks, don't get me wrong, small cap, micro cap, because that's where the next, whenever we finally crash, all right, those that are at the small level, at the micro and small cap level, are going to be the ones that are going to be growing, because they're the ones at the bottom level. And you got to wait. What have I always said? Long-term investment reigns supreme. So as a result, this is where we're at right now. All right, I am not a buyer in this market. Anybody who's buying in this market, they're playing with fire as far as I'm concerned. They're playing with fire. And that doesn't just include the stock market either. That includes this fucking ridiculous cryptocurrency market. All right? I'm not even fucking joking around. All right? I don't even want to go in to the cryptocurrency market. I'm just going to simply say this. The reason cryptocurrency is going up is because of this uncertainty that we're having in the regular fiat currency markets. And you see, that's why you saw gold going up today. And as you can see, put the PC shot on. Take a look at Bitcoin. It is up to $78,000. All right. And the reason is because people see the currency crisis that's going to hit the United States, the kind of shit that Bissett was doing, which I just mentioned earlier, by buying Japanese yen bonds with euro currency in order for Japan not to sell United States bonds so that our goddamn bond yields don't keep going higher. But I think that the cryptocurrency market is worse than the stock market. All right. Because you're, at least with a stock, unless the company goes belly up, you own equity in a company. With cryptocurrency, you don't owe shit. And it's a pyramid scheme at this point. Meme coins are getting people rich, for fuck's sake. It's ridiculous. All right? So stay out of the cryptocurrency market as well. All right? Accumulate gold, silver, accumulate U.S. dollars, accumulate assets. All right? I would look at assets that people are going to need regardless if we have a depression or not. And those people, like I said, that's why I've been trying to advocate. Everybody fucking save your money, try to stash cash, because I'm telling you, here in the near future, there's not going to be enough of it to go around. All right? There's not going to be enough of it to go around. And people are like, oh, get out of U.S. dollars. Well, hey, you know who isn't getting out of U.S. dollars? Elon Musk. Elon Musk is trying to get $1 trillion of those dollars. All right? All the fucking CEOs that are fucking liquidating their own company stocks, go take a look at how many of them are doing. While all you dumbasses are going at these assets that are overinflated, the fucking corporates, all right, the fucking CEOs, the investment firms, they're incrementally fucking taking it out. Incrementally taking it out. So I'm telling you right now, do not entertain any form of major investment at this point, unless it's real estate. And even then, you need to research the real estate market in whatever metropolitan area that you're moving into. Because from what I'm looking at, if you're in a mid-sized market or even a smaller market, those prices of those homes are going up. But let me tell you, if you're going to go into like a Miami market or Austin, Texas, or New York, Los Angeles, I mean, you're going to fucking eat crow. You better hope that when you go there, you want to stay there for the rest of your life, because trying to sell that home in the future is going to be fucking futile, as far as I'm concerned. But anyways, we were just talking about AI, tech. You know what also is keeping up AI and tech? The government. All right? The government. And this is another aspect of the Maga communism that I'm describing. Okay? Put the PC shut on. Take a look at this. Meet Flock, the $8 billion startup backed up by A16Z and Tiger, facing growing backlash against surveillance capitalism. Now, this stupid commie, all right, Katharina Giorino, or whatever the fuck her name is, that wrote this article, what this is not capitalism. All right? When the government pays for a product and dictates winners and losers, this is not capitalism. It's communism. All right? The $8 billion startup is selling to fucking governments. Why do you think these flock cameras are being erected all over the place? Who the fuck is paying for it? You are. Your county, your city, your state, your federal government. That's who's paying for this. This is not capitalism. The idea that you're going to kind of pin government-funded companies as capitalism is absolutely ridiculous. This is communism. I don't give a shit what you people want to call it. All right, because you're not buying it. Are you buying a flock camera? Do you see people putting flock cameras in their fucking backyards? No, you don't. This is specifically to monitor us all. All right? And let me tell you something. I'm glad that there's a backlash on this, because what makes us American is the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. All right? And those Bill of Rights are being infringed by every piece of surveillance, mass surveillance that's being erected in the United States today. And unless we rise up and make vocal our disdain for this shit, then they're going to continue to roll it out as fast as possible before we even notice and before we even have an attempt to have a fight back on this shit. Now, let me tell you, I'm glad that there is a backlash on this, because it gives me a little optimism that maybe, just maybe, America could be saved. I have no idea. I have no idea. But guess who defends flock cameras and data centers that keep the flock cameras data? That's why all these fucking data centers are being erected. All right? The data centers are being erected not so that you can create some stupid fucking a text-to-video fucking bullshit about some perversion or whatever, or to create your virtual waifu or whatever the fucking case might be. All right? It's to monitor all of us. And guess what? Trump says communities that oppose data centers and flock cameras are making a mistake. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? This goes to show you that each and every one of you that voted for this, okay, because this guy is in power and you voted for him overwhelmingly, he thinks he has a mandate to do whatever the fuck he wants. And I'm telling you right now, we need to have people that have at least a little bit of patriotic spirit in the Constitution. Because that's what separates us from everybody else in the world. We have guaranteed rights that are given to us by God, not by some dictator, not by some despot, by God. And unless we protect them, unless we try to preserve them, we're going to fall. We're going to end up like all the other pissing ground countries. And I think that's the intent of what Trump's trying to do to this country, trying to break us down at an even level as the rest of the world. So we have no American exceptionalism. We have no American dominance. All right, I think that he's been put there on purpose in order to take us down. There's no other rational reasoning on why this is happening. Now, look, this flock camera, data centers, it's starting to be a very contentious situation. I don't know if you heard about this. Take a look at this. Shots fired at an Indianapolis city councilman's home after the vote on proposed data centers. Now, people are now getting so tired of this that they're now conducting themselves in an irrational manner. And this is how bad people don't want this shit. And yet the government continues to kind of push it forward. I'm not saying we need to do some violent bullshit like this at all. But those of us have to go and elect people that are going to stop this. Or if you don't have anybody that's electable in your city council or in your county or in your state, then you run for it. This has got to be stopped. This has nothing to do with being a part of the technological divide. This has nothing to do with, being a technically advanced society. This has everything to do with building a technocratic surveillance system under AI that is equivalent, if not the mirror image, of China right now. All right, of China right now. And I don't want to fucking end up like China. All right? That's why I'm doing these broadcasts in hopes of whoever the fuck is listening can understand what the hell is really going on here. So this is how contentious this fucking issue is becoming. And hold on, what is this? We got super seat warmer. Communism is the way. Fuck you. Fuck you. And communism is the way. Fuck you. And Froppy, several hotels noticed flock cameras aimed at their swimming pools where families, including kids, swim. I know. I mean, give me a break. We've already had many instances where local police departments are abusing this flock camera system in order to stalk their wives and their spouses and their fucking side pieces and all this other shit. So I agree. America needs to have an issue that we all coalesce behind, because that's one thing that this system is vulnerable to. Whenever the United States people, in a majority, go against something or for something, the system has to crack. Case in point, the COVID-19 lockdowns and the vaccines. All right, enough of us said, fuck you, I'm not getting this vaccine. I don't care if you go if you make me lose my job, I don't care, I'm not doing it. So many of us rose up and said, fuck you, that the government had to get rid of this idea that locking us down. And I mean, I'm telling you, they had the intent of locking us down indefinitely. They wanted to give us permits to go outside. I mean, that's how much they thought they had it over on us. Hey, we locked them down. Look, they're afraid. We got them wearing fucking, face diapers. We got them doing this and that. Hey, we're going to continue doing it indefinitely. And enough of us said, fuck you, that they had to give up. Now, all of a sudden, COVID-19 is a memory. COVID-19 is a memory. Why? Because enough of us said, fuck you, I'm not wearing this face diaper, I'm not taking your fucking, your COVID AIDS shot. We're not doing that crap. And thank God. Thank God. And I hope the same thing is applied to this flock camera, AI surveillance, data center bullshit. All right? So anyway, let's just move on from that subject, all right? We're going on to domestic problems here when it comes to the United States. And hold on, we got a buy me a coffee message from, I believe it was Haywood here. Oh, and Mark as well. Mark said, I spent years building up a successful non-emergency medical transportation business, do luxury airport rides. I'm panicking that when the gas prices continue to go up, my business is over with. Fuck this administration. Hey, Mark, I'm sorry to hear that, but as I've stated many times, the policies in 24 that was being advertised and campaigned on by this administration should have told everybody that, hey, this is not good. And I'm sorry to hear about your business, man. Cheers to you, and thank you very much for the message on Buy Me a Coffee. And Haywood, yep, we can elect them all the way up to the... I'm not saying that, all right? You shouldn't be saying that anyway, dude. Because who knows? Maybe ICE will come to your fucking door. Maybe FBI. Well, you know what? Let's talk about ICE. Because now, I hope you all know at this point in time that ICE had nothing to do with deporting 20 million illegal immigrants. Okay? It has nothing to do with deporting 20 million illegal immigrants. And the immigrants that they are deporting, they're productive people. I told you all in 24 that if Trump was real about deporting 20 million fucking illegal immigrants, that no one was going to tend to our livestock. No one was going to tend to our goddamn agricultural commodities. And guess what? Every fucking price of every commodity is going up, partly because of that and partly because of the tariff, the blanketed tariffs by this administration. All right? I told you the first thing that countries were going to do when the blanketed tariffs were being implemented is cut off what we produce. Look, the farmers are the ones that benefit from exports, all right? With the exception also of the tech companies, but the farmers. And they are kind of dependent upon the exports to China, the exports to the EU, the exports to Canada, and now they don't have those places to export anymore. So as a result, at first, and as I predicted in 24, we were going to see a slight dip in prices at the grocery store, but then it was going to skyrocket it back up because of both of these factors, the tariffs and the immigration policy. And I tried to tell Trump on 24 that if you expect the American people, all right, to get up off their asses, I mean, 50% of people that are, 50% of males, by the way, that are under the age of 35 are living with a fucking dependent. They're living with their goddamn mom and dad. They're living at home. Over 50% of males under 35. Why aren't they going out there and tending the crops? Why aren't they going out there and tending the livestock? Because they're fucking pathetic, and because we have purposely dumbed down our country to the point where people don't want to do anything but play in fantasy land and play video games and wax their fucking character cartoons and shit. All right? But let's talk about ICE for a second, because as I was stating, ICE isn't deporting anybody but low-hanging fruit. Now, what do I talk about low-hanging fruit? What does that even mean? This right here. Take a look at this. Father of a sailor aboard the beleaguered USS Abraham Lincoln, which we talked about on the last show, about how bad it was, and the whole reason why it was so bad was because Iran destroyed the resupply bases that the USS Abraham Lincoln would go to resupply. Anyway, detained by immigration authorities. So we've got a sailor aboard USS Abraham Lincoln that is serving in this goddamn Iran war. He's having his father, all right, picked up by immigration authorities in order to be detained. This is all low-hanging fruit bullshit. Okay? This is low-hanging fruit bullshit. And why is ICE really being promoted? ICE is really being promoted because of money. It's another communist idea in order to keep an economy going while at the same time suppressing American citizens. And by the way, the only people that have been shot dead, all right, by ICE have been American fucking people. All right, American people. Look at this. Footage shows U.S. citizen shot dead by ICE agent in Texas traffic stop. All right? I mean, the only people that are being shot dead by ICE are American citizens. All right? This has nothing to do with fucking deporting immigrants, you stupid morons. All right? You people are idiots. Take a look at this. You know, U.S. witnessed many ICE deaths in 2026. I mean, it's all American citizens that are being fucking killed. And you think that's a fucking accident? All right, so obviously, immigration is not necessarily on the agenda for ICE at this point. All right, I mean, I keep going, dude. I mean, look at this. Put the PC shot on. A family of an LA man killed by ICE agents calls for a grand jury investigation into the shooting. These are all American citizens that are being killed by this rogue organization. Now, why is this rogue organization even in existence? All right, because of communism. All right, let me give you an example. Okay, many people are dying in detention centers as well as being killed by ICE. Now, the folks that are dying in detention centers, they may or may not be illegal immigrants, but they're dying in detention centers. I mean, this is fucking ridiculous. I mean, we're treating prisoners that kill American citizens better than whatever the hell we're detaining these folks. I am in shock. Now, who owns the detention centers? Let's take a look. Let's go and see who actually owns these detention centers and how much they're getting paid. Okay? First of all, take a look at how many are, where the money's going. Deportation dollars. ICE contracts with more than 1,000 businesses across the United States. All right? With billions of dollars to spend, the Trump administration has entered into contracts with hundreds of companies. You see, communism, 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 communism. Both big and small, to execute its deportation agenda. Since January 25th, or January 2025, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, has awarded $8.4 billion to more than 1,100 companies. Okay? So they're buying off, all right, the government is buying off cooperation from small businesses, first and foremost. American businesses. Okay, that's first and foremost. Secondly, they're purchasing a massive amount of warehouses, which, by the way, before ICE came along, warehouses as well as office real estate were fucking crashing as it pertains to the amount of occupancy at these locations. But take a look at this. ICE warehouse purchases herald new model for immigration detention. No, it's not for immigration detention. It's for the detainment of you and me in the future. Okay? Take a look at this, all right? $45 billion has been spent on immigration detention centers. $45 billion. So this is really what's propping up this economy is, you know, hey, we're going to throw poverty beef. Hey, we're going to do this. The government centralizing decisions and allocating tax dollars and making winners and losers. Who the hell is the winner? Who's the big winner that runs these ICE detention centers, huh? Well, if you do a little research, you'll find that it's a company by the name of the Geo Group. Here they are here. This is their website. Support services provided by the Geo Group on behalf of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Now, the irony is this. All of you people, I see people in Kick Chat saying, oh, they're immigrants, this and that. Hey, you know how stupid you are? Let me tell you how stupid you are, okay? You've got this Geo Group who is opening up all these ICE detention centers and running them. Who founded the fucking Geo Group? Who founded it? Well, a man by the name of George Zoley, and guess what? Here it is right here. George Zoley, an American businessman. It's funny that they call him an American businessman because guess what? If you take a look at his early life, George Christopher Zoley was born February 1950 in Florina, Greece. Okay? Him and his parents immigrated over here, and now this fucking cocksucker is now in charge, or at least his fucking company is running all the immigration detention centers. That's how fucking ridiculous this shit is. All right? I mean, it is fucking pathetic that you people are out here, yeah, America, we got to deport the immigrants, and yet an immigrant is the person that founded the company that is running the ICE detention centers. It's fucking unbelievable, dude. All right, it is unfucking believable with you people. And look, this is why you people are suffering right now. And I'm kind of indifferent on whether or not you people deserve it. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm indifferent on whether or not you people deserve it. But let's continue. I mean, look, there's money to go around. You know, ICE is on a spending spree with our tax dollars. All right, take a look at this. ICE inked $9 million contract with Monsanto. Take that shit off. Take this shit off. Anyway, let me fucking read it. A firearms manufacturer and spending $17 million in Philly area businesses. All right, so $9 million, $17 million over there. We've got $20 million going off for some electric shock gloves that they want ICE to have so that they can just shock your ass right when touching you, for Christ's sake. I mean, this is MAGA communism. Okay? This is MAGA communism. The dictation of who is winners and losers in an economy. And I'm telling you right now, this is pathetic that you've got American people that are actually agreeing with this shit. All right? And this is why I have always argued that the only way we're going to fix this is if we have a comprehensive immigration policy where we bring in people that actually care about the country and hopefully supersede the assholes that don't. All right? Because there's a lot of American people that really don't know how important the Constitution is. There's a lot of people out there that really don't know how important our rights as human beings in this country are, that we need to have a whole new crop of people that know the Constitution, that are going to be very intelligent participants in the political process and actually try to live in somewhat peace. Because guess what? If you go to any American metropolitan area, it is a fucking war zone out here, and it's mostly Americans. It's mostly Americans killing other Americans. All right? So there's no other solution. Look, here comes the globalist part of the show. Hey, asshole, what are you doing? You're not doing anything. I mean, half of you have fucking stupid anime profile pictures and still watch cartoons at 40. All right? I mean, you're a lost cause. All right? Anybody who is a man-child that's under the age of 40, you should have like a designation of being mentally ill. All right? Because you refuse to participate in a government that's made for the people and by the people. And it's your fault. It's all of your faults. All right? I mean, that's why we're here. That's why we're in this situation that we're in at this point. Because you people don't care. And I love the country so much. I love the country so much that I want people in this country that are going to care about the Constitution and our Bill of Rights. All right? I don't want the people that are idiots. And look, 60% of America are trash. All right? And that's a fact. I mean, Mitt Romney tried to say that, and everybody, oh my God, I can't believe Mitt Romney said that. Hey, 60% of the American people collect a government entitlement or collect government money. All right, that's not communism. Or excuse me, that's not capitalism. That's communism. That's socialism. Now, look, I know what everybody's asking. Well, Ghost, what are we supposed to do? Well, we're kind of fucked, okay? We're kind of fucked because, look, the Democrats, which now folks that were MAGA in 24 that got betrayed are now trying to, I don't know, court the Democrats or some shit. The problem is that the Democrats are having a internal struggle of their own. You've got the centrist and you've got the fucking far left socialist. And that's going to be a very big problem because these folks, all right, literally are salivating. They're salivating at the opportunity of taking the precedent that has been set by Trump and rolling with it. So we're in some serious trouble as a fucking country. And hold on, we got a Bayou boy. How much did ICE pay to fly this guy around? At least $100K. Well, I'm not taking videos right now, but once again, Bayou boy, look, that's what this economy is based around. All right, the only people that are making money in America today are those that are connected with the government. And that's not what America was built on. America was built on private hands. As a matter of fact, I don't respect any fucking billionaire that is taking money from the government. As a matter of fact, and I've advocated this many times, I think that instead of taxation, because taxation it's never going to do anything. You know, whenever we raise taxes on something, all the government does is allocate that to adding more and more bullshit programs to the government dole. What we need to do, and this is in order to take care of this debt. I mean, the whole reason why we're in a currency crisis here is because of the debt. And what we need to do as American citizens, fuck American citizens, American tax dollars. American tax dollars. All right, the folks that pay the American taxes, we need to start rising up and saying, look, we demand, because this is the people's government, right? This is a government made for the people and by the people. We demand equity. Equity in the companies that our tax dollars were given to provide research and development for products, both in all industries, the pharmaceutical industry, the tech industry, every fucking industry. Because our tax dollars went to go and hook up research and development in these corporations. Then equity should be given to the United States government in these products and services that tax dollars went to fund their research and development. And I think that this needs to be propagated. I think people need to start promoting this, that, hey, look, we, the United States people, we own SpaceX. All right, and the research and development into Tesla. And we own the research and development into whatever the fuck Big Pharma was doing during COVID. We own the research and development to a lot of these folks that develop the Defense Department products and services, etc. Because what we do with that equity is we take in the revenue of the equity that was put forth by our tax dollars into research and development. We should take that revenue in perpetuity and specifically pay down the debt principal. If we start doing that shit, we change our economy around faster than we could even imagine. But nobody has any of those ideas. There's nobody proposing any ideas. No Democrats are saying, look, we can reverse this by doing this. We can no, all they want to do is raise taxes and do what Trump's doing, but at an accelerated rate. I mean, they're going to take ICE and they're going to fucking tell ICE to go after, people that dissent against the United States Democrat government. So I'm telling you right now, we're fucked. I mean, take a look at this. How the Democrats are luring voters is promising that they're going to have probes. They're going to use every committee to probe Trump, his family, his financial dealings, and all this other shit, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I'd like to see that, but I'd like to see the Democrats or whoever's going to attain power, I'd like to see them reverse course in the self-destruction path that we're paving for ourselves. All right? But no fucking goddamn Democrat is talking this. You know what they're doing? And this is what I mentioned on the last broadcast. They're trying to appeal to, like, hey, that's a nice person. I identify with that person. Like, that's what AOC, that's what Mondami did. Mondami, he's more like likability. It's not even about issues anymore. It's not even about ideas. It's about likability. And that's what most of the Democrats are running on right now. They're not saying anything. We got some fucking pro-trans kid asshole, the Democrat. His name's James Tellerico. We got him running for Senate out here in Texas. All right? And he says absolutely nothing other than we need to bring down prices of drugs. And we need to bring down prices of groceries. We need to help the working man. What the fuck does that even mean? All right? He doesn't propose anything. He doesn't have any ideas. It's the same shit with AOC, the same shit that elected Mondami. It's a bunch of abstract promises to do nothing. To do nothing. So that's why you've got the Democrats saying, oh, we're going to probe these people. We're going to do investigations. We're going to try to prosecute. And great. All right, that's fine. What about running the fucking government? Oh, God. So, look, I'm all for investigating the Trump administration. This has been one of the corrupt. I thought it was bad with Obama. But this is the most corrupt government that the American people have ever witnessed in their entire life. The amount of money that has been aggregated by the Trump family and by folks that donated to their campaign is fucking corrupt, pathetic. It's atrocious. It's a banana republic. It's a banana republic. So I'm not looking forward to the Democrats taking control, even though they look like they may win some midterm seats. I'm not looking forward to what they're going to do. I think that we're truly fucked, and it's because the opposition of the current corruption is corrupt themselves. All right, and they're not going to promise anything. All right, they're not going to promise a goddamn thing. I mean, at least Trump in 24 told you what he was going to do. He told you the policies. He told you the ideas, even though I thought they were nuts, and rightfully so. But at least he told you that he was going to tariff people. He was going to deport people. He was going to, revamp the foreign policy and all that garbage. But he did it, in a very stupid, kind of half-assed, very ignorant, self-destructive way. We're not hearing nothing from the Democrats in this capacity. We're not hearing nothing. You know what we're hearing? We're, like I was saying, a bunch of abstract garbage of like, yeah, we need to help the people. Yay, spaghetti, yay. And guess what? This is working. Abstract bullshit and likability is working for the Democrats. Did you see this? Democratic Socialist upsets the party establishment. And look at this fucking dumb bitch. Are you fucking kidding me? Why do all these kookster fucking socialists look like a bunch of ex-hipster, genderly ambiguous, fucking sexually ambiguous fucking losers? All right? I mean, do we really need people like this running the country? I mean, look at this. This person thinks that they're Trotsky or some shit. All right? But it's likability. It has nothing to do with issues on the Democratic side. It's about likability. It's about whether or not they relatability. I mean, this woman's probably a fucking lesbian, and women love that shit. And she's probably saying abstract crap like, hey, we need free this, we need free that. They learned it from fucking Uncle Bernie over there. You remember Uncle Bernie, right? Bernie Sanders. Hey, I'm Bernie Sanders, and I am going to give you free education. I'm going to give you free medical care. I'm going to give you a free car in every driveway. I'm going to give a free chicken in every pot. But what I want you to do is come on over here, take your underwears off. Don't worry about the pants tent. Don't worry about the pants tent. Come on over here and take your underwears off and keep contributing. That's right, keep contributing. Come on, keep contributing. Yeah, keep contributing. All right, come on, sit on my apple. Come on over here, sit on my apple. Come on. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. All right. Now, what I want you to do is clean yourself up and don't tell anybody I tell you to take your underwears off and keep contributing. That's literally the Socialist Party right there. And they learned it all from Uncle Bernie. Thanks a lot, you old prostate-infected windbag. And arrogant bastard, that is the scary part about democracy. It lumps up the smart with the dumb, giving all the same voting power. Very good point there, arrogant bastard. Very good point. But this is where we're at. This is the divide in the Democratic Party. It's either centrist or these fucking radical socialists, which are going to take what Trump has going to leave them, the precedent that Trump is going to leave them. They're going to run with it even harder. So that's why those of us that are voters, we have to make sure that we understand what ideas that we want for our country and how our country wants to be run. All right, we can't be so stupid. The reason Trump got elected and he's doing whatever he wants to do because fucking American people are fucking stupid. And this is why you can agree with me or not, there's no turning back. It's not like you're going to persuade these dumbasses to get any smarter. It's not like you're going to persuade these losers that are living with mommy and shit. It's not like you're going to persuade them to go out and become something and be productive. You're not going to persuade them. It's done. All right? Once they're 21 years of age, that's pretty much who they're going to be for the rest of their lives. So we have to bring in people that actually care about the country, because right now the American people don't care about America. And just because you have a fucking flag outside your car, just because you have a fucking Maga hat on or whatever the fuck, you don't like the country. If you like the country, if you love the country, you wouldn't have voted this shit in. because Trump didn't make it a secret what he was going to do. I know many of you out there are saying, oh, I feel betrayed. He said what he was going to do. I told you what was going to happen in 24. Go back to the archive right now. Go back to my shows on True Capitalist Radio in 2024. I said verbatim what the fuck was going to happen. And it's not because I'm psychic. It's not because I'm a clairvoyant. It's because Trump told your ass. All right? Trump told your ass. And you fucking, oh yeah, Maga. How's that working out for you now, Nimrod? How's that shit working out for you now? Huh? This is what I'm saying. The American people, I'm not really devastated that you people are suffering. I'm not, because I tried to tell you so, and that's why I told you the day after the election, hey, when you're suffering, I want you to think of me. All right? I want you to think of me. And look, it's getting so bad that not only is that weirdo kookster broad that I just showed you, that's a Democratic Socialist, being nominated to run, but you also got over there in Dearborn, all right, which, by the way, Trump is helping these people get elected by even acknowledging them. All right, by even acknowledging them and talking shit about them. He's even giving them more spotlight than these people deserve. And one of them is this Senate candidate out of Michigan, this Abdul El Sayed, all right, which is an Arab, which Trump has called a terrorist, which Trump has talked a bunch of shit on. And this guy is using Trump's spotlight and riding it all the way into the Senate. All right, here's another Democratic Socialist for you. All right, so I'm telling you right now, this does not look good for America at all. At all. I mean, we are being destroyed. I keep saying this, but you people don't care. That's the thing. You people don't give a shit. All right, you people don't care. I mean, that's the sad part about it. I mean, how can you show any empathy to people that don't give a shit about themselves? I don't get it. I mean, come on, Maine. And look, if you think that the centrists are going to help us, give me a break. Did you hear about Timu Obama? What the hell's his name? Hakeem Jeffries, who's supposed to be the Democratic star in the goddamn Congress or some shit? Take a look at this. Hakeem Jeffries met with Jared Kushner in New York City to discuss how Democrats and Trump could cooperate. I mean, we're fucked, man. We're fucked. I mean, the whole reason why I did this True Capitalist Radio for almost 20 years was in hopes of inspiring folks to have synapses sparked in their brain in order to motivate them to go run for some shit. All right, to assert the ideas that I promote on this show. All right, to go and manifest them into reality, manifest them into law. And it seems like the only people that listen to me are, I hate to say, the people that don't do shit but watch cartoons all day and, fucking play video games all day, which, I mean, hey, playing cartoons and watching video games all day ain't going to do shit for nobody, all right? And you can't complain when you've got all this garbage going on around us when you contributed nothing to help it get out of here or make it go away. You did nothing. You did absolutely nothing. So here's where we're at. We've got Hakeem Jeffries, a supposed centrist, meeting with Jared Kushner. Okay, then we got the fucking Democrat socialists, for Christ's sake. So we're truly fucked, dude. All right. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I know that you people always ask, well, Ghost, what's the good news? There is no good news. There is no good news. Where is the good news? There's none. There is none. The only good news is for Trump and the donation class. All right? The Trump family and the donation class are the only ones that are heel kicking out here and living like it's going out of style. And then you've got Trump trying to act like a bully in the world when we look like fucking chumps because of the current Iran war. But before I get to the Iran war, take a look at this. The dumbest trade war in history. Trump will impose 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada. It's dumb. All right? He is now in a trade war with Canada, mostly Canada. I don't know if y'all heard about this. All right? And it's not 25. Now that I think Carney or whoever the fuck is the prime minister over there, I think he told Trump to go fuck himself in the latest talks over Canada-U.S. economic relations. Carney told Trump to fuck himself, and he came out today and said 50% on Canadian auto parts, cars, trucks, and other shit. All right, so there we are. The trade war escalates against our neighbor up north. And look, I'm not a big fan of Canada, okay? And the reason is because the government gave pointers to the United States government on how to incrementally assert socialism on its people. I mean, it gave a blueprint. I mean, the Canadian government gave a blueprint on how to suppress your own fucking people and make it look like it's democratic. So I'm no fan of Canada, but for Christ's sake, I mean, are we going to take on the world or some shit? Are we going to take on Canada and Mexico and Latin America and Greenland, and we're going to take on fucking Russia, Ukraine, fucking Iran, the Middle East? I mean, this is ridiculous. This is utterly ridiculous. I mean, look, the deal was, there was a tentative deal in which Trump proposed, and the reason Canada shot it down is because in the proposal, the United States was dictating Canada's culture. For some reason, in the agreement that was rejected by Carney, the United States wanted Canada to get rid of the French-speaking Canadians. They wanted to get rid of the French-Canadian culture. I'm not joking. I mean, this was part of the deal that was proposed by Trump, dictating another country's culture. And that's why Carney had no fucking choice but to say, you know what, Don, go fuck yourself. And right away today, fucking old fat Donnie boy over here decides 50% trade, tariffs on trade with Canada. So now we don't even have friends that are our neighbors anymore. This is ridiculous. And remember, he was a big proponent of the Keystone Pipeline. What was the Keystone Pipeline? It was the oil that was being extracted from the shale oil deposits that are in Canada, and it was to transport them through this pipeline so that the Americans can consume it. What happened? What the fuck happened? Now, look, Canada is responding by saying they're going to announce retaliatory tariffs against the United States. And they haven't really explained what the hell that means. They've already taken all of our whiskey out of their government-run liquor stores out there in Canada. So I don't know what this is going to pertain to, but they're not just talking about retaliatory tariffs, Canada, either. All right, they're talking about, okay, Don, you want to play? You want to play games? Okay, we can play games. They're talking about shutting down the electricity in areas up north that share electrical assets with Northern American cities and states. Okay, that's how serious this shit is getting. That's how serious. They're ready to cut electricity and cut critical minerals to the United States of America because of this trade war that was induced by Trump. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And look, I am absolutely not for this. I am absolutely not for this at all. I think this hurts America. I think it's done for no reason. I mean, it makes no sense why the fuck you would do this. It hurts America more than it hurts Canada, in my opinion. It hurts America more than it hurts Canada, and we're going to see the whirlwind of that as well. But let's go ahead and pivot here, because I'm kind of taking a long time here. It's a very extensive amount of material that I'm trying to relay here, because there's a lot of shit going on in the world here. But let's talk about the big announcement today, right? The government, Trump administration had said throughout the weekend that they were going to announce an economic D-Day in relation to the Iran war. Now, I don't know if you heard the speech by Bessent, who gave this economic D-Day announcement, but I think that everybody should listen to it, and we're going to talk about it here for a minute, because this is far more dangerous than anything else that we're doing. All right? Anything else that we're doing. Take a look at it. Here's the Secretary of Treasury announcing the economic D-Day for Iran.
Today, at President Trump's direction, the United States Treasury has begun Operation Economic Outcast.
Economic
an
Outcast.
Unprecedented campaign against the Islamic Republic of Iran and its enablers. In the Second World War, D-Day marked the historic beginning of a campaign with our allies to target and drive the enemy from its positions, including those in third countries. Today, in that same spirit, we are launching an economic onslaught against Iran's financial connections around the globe. Our objective is to sever every economic lifeline that sustains this tyrannical regime until Tehran stands alone.
All right, now, this is literally Bush post 9/11 telling the world that you're either with us or you're with the terrorist. Okay? Now, what Bissett is talking about is that he is calling on everybody in the world to stop doing any kind of trade with Iran. That includes Russia. That includes China. Now, I don't know what kind of clout this administration thinks that it's standing on, that it can that it can even enforce this bullshit. But it puts us in a much bigger fucking war than just Iran. All right, let's listen to what else this fucking fruit bowl said.
Iran's fanatics devote themselves to death to America and seek nuclear weapons to do just that.
Here we go with
They have murdered
the pomp.
and maimed more of our citizens and service members than any other terrorist regime on earth. And they have been at war against America, their neighbors in the Gulf, and much of the world for 47 years. President Trump has taken action that his predecessors have long deferred. And under his leadership, America is no longer managing the Iranian threat. We are ending it. Our great armed forces...
We're ending it? They're still around. I mean, the fact that they're still around throwing short-range munitions, mid-range munitions at our bases and we can't stop them, I mean, that doesn't look good. And now Bissett is sitting here waving his finger at the world saying anybody who does business with China is going to get what? What are we going to do to them? What are we going to do, Iran? What are we going to do if China does business with Iran? What are we going to do if Russia does business with Iran? What are we going to do if North Korea does business with Iran? What are we going to do with India doing business with Iran? How are we going to enforce this? Well, we're going to do, we've already done the tariff route. What are we going to do? Sanctions? Unbelievable. This is the dumbest policy I've ever heard in my fucking life. All right? We either go in there and fucking take these fuckers out, which I don't think we can at this point. We galvanize the goddamn population, and any opposition within the population of Iran that rose up in late January, which is when we should have hit them up, have all been killed. So I don't know. I would not be necessarily for going in and cleaning house, but we're in a war, and by doing this, what? You think the world's just going to do what we say? We've pissed off everybody. We look like jerk-offs. We look like jerk-off bullies and shit. And what, we expect to have allies in this war? We started this war. We started it, for fuck's sake. Play the rest of this shit.
Have laid the groundwork for achieving the president's objective of preventing Iran from ever obtaining nuclear weapons. They have shown America's resolve to finally end this threat. And the strength of America's economy under President Trump allows us to wage this sustained financial operation alongside the might of our military. Iran now faces a very clear choice with only two paths before them: complete global isolation and a subsistence economy, or a path back to normalcy with an opportunity to rejoin the global economy. Today, we are launching Operation Economic Outcast to foreclose every other option available to the Iranian regime. Treasury has mapped every node, every facilitator, and every network that Iran has used to smuggle oil and evade sanctions. Beginning today, the actions of Treasury and other agencies will tighten the noose and block every potential source of revenue that funds the IRGC and the evil Iranian regime.
How are we going to enforce this, moron? All right, that's great. Yeah, anybody who trades with Iran, we're going to force them to not trade with them anymore. It's economic D-Day. How are we going to enforce this? We can't even enforce our will upon Iran. All right? We look like fucking chumps. I mean, this is just absolutely retarded. And this is what you all voted for, remember? Oh, there's not going to be any wars. We can't vote for Kamala because there's not going to be any more new wars. Well, let me tell you, not only are we going into this Iran with this economic D-Day bullshit, but they're now prepping us for a potential draft in order for us to potentially round up a bunch of troops in order for us to potentially go into Iran. And for those that don't believe me, well, take a look at this. All right, this came out just right before the goddamn show started. You had Pete Buy Me a Beer Hegseth, one of the most incompetent morons to run the Defense Department, or I guess the Department of War. That's ironic. This idiot renames the Defense Department into the Department of War, and we're fucking losing a war. All right? We're losing the first war. But look at what Pete Hegseth has to say over here, all right? Here it is.
That's why we want all of our defense contractors to pivot. And that's why we're doing this Arsenal of Freedom tour, pivot to a wartime footing and build for victory. As I mentioned, for decades, the Pentagon was hampered by bureaucracy, bogged down by burdensome and inefficient processes, paralyzed by impossible risk thresholds, and distracted by agendas that had nothing to do with warfighting.
I mean, a wartime economy means just as exactly what I said that Putin was going to do when he invaded Ukraine. Because Putin's economy was dwindling, and the way to keep an economy going is to go into a wartime economy. Now, a wartime economy is not something that can be sustained indefinitely. It is a holding pattern. It is a holding pattern, and as a result, the fact that you've got this moron saying that he wants defense contractors to start producing as if we're in a wartime footing suggests that we're headed in to a long-term warfare engagement in order for us to sustain this MAGA communism that has been implemented by this administration. All right, because once again, what does that mean? Okay, these defense contractors or Department of War contractors are being told by the Secretary of War, quote unquote, to produce on a wartime footing. Who's going to flip that bill? Who's going to pay for all that overproduction of defense weapons and other type of equipment? It's going to be the United States taxpayer. And we've already hit $40 trillion. As a matter of fact, over 27% of the debt that's on the books for the United States has come from Trump alone. From Trump alone. 27% of the debt of the 40 trillion has come from Trump alone. Did you get any of that money? I mean, I get it. They tried to compensate you with a couple of grand in order for you to be prisoners in your own house for some fake fucking virus that was nothing more than a cold, for Christ's sake. All right, maybe you got a couple of grand there. I mean, has our infrastructure been put to modern day standards? Has our bridges been built? Have our airports been built in mass capacity? Has our railway been built? Nothing. Where has all that money gone? Because it certainly didn't go to the people. It certainly didn't go to infrastructure. It certainly didn't go to anybody but the donor class and, of course, anybody who is affiliated with the Trump family. So this is where we're at. And look, I mean, we don't have people that are telling the American public the truth like I'm telling you. And if you do have somebody telling them the truth like I tell you, they don't want to believe it. They don't want to believe it. Now, look, even though you've got all these indicators that the United States is not looking well in our own endeavors into this Iran war, and this is why I keep telling you, I don't believe anything this administration is saying at all. Because everything that they're saying, in my opinion, is the complete opposite. Take a look at it. It's a typical communist fashion, by the way. Take a look at this. U.S. says oil is pouring through the Strait of Hormuz. Trackers can't find it because it's not. It's bullshit. All right? They're telling us lies in order to keep us docile because they don't want us to know the truth because we are in trouble. All right? We're in absolute trouble. The fact that the Iranian government is still around is fucking pathetic. The fact that they're still sustaining themselves and they're still able to hit targets of our bases in the Middle East and we can't stop them says a lot. And I said this on the last broadcast, most Middle Eastern countries now want us to get the fuck out of their countries because the whole intention of us having a base there was to keep their country safe. That's why these Sauds and the UAE and Qatar, they didn't heavily invest in defense. They heavily invested in their own infrastructure. They heavily invested in and that's why they have these badass buildings and these fucking, badass pieces of real estate. That's why there's a lot of rich going over there and buying real estate because they thought they were going to be protected by the United States might. And the fact that our bases are getting hit, the fact that our Middle Eastern quote-unquote partners are getting hit shows us nothing more than a paper tiger. Shows us no more than a paper tiger. So they want us out. As a matter of fact, they're kind of coming together. I'm talking the Arabian countries, the Arabian Peninsula countries. They're coming together in hopes of striking a deal with Iran without the United States even being involved. All right? I'm not joking around. You've got the Middle Eastern countries like Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, etc. They're approaching Iran on their own, outside the United States influence, in order to strike a deal for them and their oil and everything else to get through the Strait of Hormuz. So, as isolated as so-called Bassett wants to isolate Iran, we're being isolated. All right, and I said this in 24. I said the foreign policy that's being proposed by Trump is going to make us a pariah of the world, and at some point, the world is going to come together in a multilateral fashion in order to hit us personally. And they'll be justified. They'll be justified because of all the belligerence that America is conducting themselves throughout the whole entire fucking world. All right? So, once again, this is where we're at right now when it comes to Iran. Oh, yeah, there's got fucking oil coming in through the Strait of Hormuz. No, they don't. As a matter of fact, you've got Iran blacklisting 45 tankers in the Strait of Hormuz and threatening to fine and potentially confiscate their cargo. You've got a deal now with Oman and Iran to charge fees, all right, to allow ships to go through the Strait of Hormuz. And they're certainly going to do this because if we're going to have this, economic D-Day threatening anybody who trades with Iran to isolate them, you're going to force them to do things like what they're doing now. Take over tankers, confiscate their cargo, charge a fee to get through the strait. I mean, we're going to force them to do this. I mean, this is insane, dude. If we would have just left Iran alone, none of this would be happening. And it goes back to the incompetence at the Secretary of War level and the presidency. That's where the buck stops. All right, and that's why I hope if there's going to be any probes, quote unquote, by the Democrats, if they happen to win the midterm elections in a majority in the Senate, the House, or both, I'd like to have somebody held accountable for this gross incompetence. All right. And I think it stops with Hegseth and the president. And unfortunately, because of a Supreme Court ruling right before President Trump's election, the president can get away with whatever he wants. So I think Hegseth needs to be investigated. And if you want my opinion, I think he should potentially be prosecuted for such incompetence. Because as I stated, if we were going to hit Iran, we should have done it when the people were rising up. And we wouldn't even have had to have commit as much military assets as we've committed now. Because if we would have hit up the Ayatollahs, which by all reports, we took out the Ayatollah within 90 seconds, all right? If we would have taken out the Ayatollahs, and as I stated, the whole clerical hierarchy, all right, if we would have taken out all the clerics, the son of fucking the Ayatollah, the clerics that elect new Ayatollahs, if we would have taken them all out during late January when all the Iranians were raising up, the Iranians would not have had a chance to throw as many mid-range missiles at the bases in the Middle East, and we would have been in a better situation because the Iranians would have been more concerned about sustaining their own credibility and their own longevity to quash the uprising as opposed to being missile ready to start launching missiles at will. But somebody made the decision not to do that. And I don't know if it's Trump, I don't know if it's Hegseth, but I think the buck stops with Hegseth, and I think Hegseth needs to be held accountable for his incompetence or malice, either way. That's why I think there should be an investigation on whether or not he did this out of malice, which there's a little bit of credibility that it has, because he keeps firing all these generals that are in opposition in whatever cockamamie idea that he is enthralled with. And the buck stops with Trump as well. But Trump, he's never going to be held accountable for any of this stuff. That's why he doesn't care. All right, I mean, he's already in bad health as it is. All right, I mean, he doesn't really care. He knows that he'll check out of this life before he's held accountable. And all the people that are going to be held accountable are the people that used his MAGA power in order for them to take power and abuse it, like Hegseth and like most of the people in the cabinets, like most of the people that have been nominated for presidentially nominated positions. It's the same shit. This has to be done. This is the most corrupt and the most inept fucking administration I've ever seen in my life. Unbelievable. All right. Let's continue with Iran, though, because this is a big deal. All right. Now, the reason that Bissett thinks that he can do this in order to destroy Iran or isolate Iran is because we have had such unbelievable sanctions on Iran for the past fucking 10 years. And that's why the Iranians rose up in January, because they were tired of the conditions that were induced by the regime and their policies. Now, unfortunately, all those folks that rose up in late January of this year are all dead because Trump, in his stupidity, decided to tell the Iranian people to raise up. Help is on the way. Help wasn't on the way. And the Iranian regime killed 40 to 100,000 of the opposition. So now the only population that resides in Iran are those that are for the regime. Unfucking believable. All right? Unfucking believable. But the reason that it's a big deal is because of their currency, the rial, I think is what you call it, is at all-time lows. A new record low. All right? More than 2 million rials to $1 US. So they're suffering already economically. But they think that this economic D-Day will help put economic pressure on the country in hopes of causing another uprising, which is a fat fucking chance. All right, which is a fat fucking chance. So Iran, though, has come out and said that they will retaliate against any country that cooperates with fresh U.S. sanctions. So that goes for any European nation. That goes for any Middle Eastern nation. That goes for anybody. Anybody. And look, Iran, they're getting desperate. Now they realize that the United States is going to continue whether or not they throw those mid-range missiles at our fucking bases in the Middle East or not. So now Iran is getting desperate, and they're going to pull in other people into this war. You know, they're going to try to maybe conduct some kind of operation to blow up EU assets. You know, maybe, blow up UK assets. So this doesn't look like it's going to end. All right, it looks like it's just the beginning. All right, so hey, Bissett, I know this is the end. No, we've only just begun for war because we're incompetent. So get a fucking clue, Bissett. It's fucking Pete fucking buy me a beer Hegseth, who's incompetent. Anyway, aside from Iran claiming to retaliate against anybody who, kind of goes along with us, they have now said that they have put out a bounty on Trump's son, Barron Trump. All right? $10 million bounty. Now, this is unprecedented here. This is unprecedented because typically when it comes to nation states and heads of state making decisions about war and shit, usually spouses and children are off limits. You know, it's usually off limits completely. This is not a part of traditional nation state type threats in warfare. But this goes to show you that they are desperate enough that they're putting out money, for Barron Trump. And I'm telling you right now, the Iranians have already assassinated a few people throughout the past 10 years that were in opposition of their regime, that were defectors from their regime. I mean, this has been done. Look this up. So I would take this threat very serious. And if I were Barron Trump, I would sit down his dad and have a conversation with him because he's supposedly in college and shit. Hopefully he's taking political science. Hopefully he could sit down with him and say, hey, Dad, what the fuck are you doing? All right? I mean, they got a $10 million bounty on my head. This is unprecedented. All right? I mean, when Bush invaded Afghanistan and Iraq, they didn't go after the fucking Trump girls. All right, they didn't go after the Trump girl, the Bush girls. They didn't go after Bush's family. They didn't go after Bush's wife because this is unprecedented. This is unprecedented. So I feel bad for Barron Trump because he was born into this. All right, I mean, I'm sure he's that big fucking Polymarket account that bets before Trump does anything. I'm pretty sure it's him. But either way, he had nothing to do with this. I think he should be completely off limits. The Iranians are showing their desperation at this point in time by putting out a bounty on Barron Trump. But hey, Israel and Bibsy, he's going to come out and try to calm Trump down a little bit and say, look, Donald, don't worry about your son Barron Trump. Don't worry because the Iranians have tried to kill my sons too. Yeah, Israel Netanyahu says Iran tried to kill one of his sons. All right? So this is to pipe down Donald if he gets a little apprehensive about the bounty on Barron Trump's head. Here you got Bibsy to be like, don't worry about it, Donald. They tried to kill one of my sons. That's why we have to continue with the Iranian regime. And we have to continue until the Iranian regime is no longer around. It doesn't matter the cost. So there you go, all right? There's Benjamin Netanyahu trying to say, hey, Trump, they tried to kill my son too. Don't worry about it. Jesus Christ, you can't make this shit up. This is so fucking stupid, dude. This is so stupid how we have degraded to this point. Now, going back to the economic D-Day announcement by Bissett, all right? This is reported by Al Jazeera, and this is pretty good analysis. This is actually what I've been trying to suggest here in the past 30 or 40 minutes. How China and Russia could hobble Trump's plans to isolate Iran. And the reason is, folks, is because Russia has no choice but to do deals with Iran at this point. And it's because their energy resources have been hit up by the Ukrainians, very much so that I'll report it here in a minute on what it's doing to Russia and its domestic population, but China as well. I mean, how are we going to enforce China and Russia from not doing any business with Iran? How are we going to do that? The only way we can do that is that we provide them discounted oil, which is really what they need Iran for. They don't really need Iran for anything else. They possibly need Iran for drone technology because it's obvious that they are, almost at the level of sophistication in drone technology as Ukraine. But they both of these countries need oil. And the only way that they're going to be like, all right, we'll fucking tell Iran to go fuck themselves if we give them not just oil, but other commodities like some of our crops. I mean, I think that's a little bit of a reason why we're getting all this poverty beef and like 300 fucking tons of poverty beef being thrown into the United States in order for us to give them discounted beef, discounted livestock, because that's what China depends on. That's the only way these people are going to say, all right, we're not going to fuck with Iran, because we certainly aren't going to be able to threaten these people to prevent them from doing business with Iran, because it's necessity now that both China and Russia deal with Iran, particularly when it comes to the oil and the energy crisis that's happening right now. And a lot of the energy crisis is happening because of our war with Iran. All right, so there you go. I don't know how we're going to enforce this. We're not going to be able to enforce this. We're going to have to bribe them. And watch, you're going to hear this in the next couple of days or maybe in the coming weeks, that we're going to give discounted commodities, discounted beef, discounted oil, possibly even free, if you want my opinion, to China and Russia in order for them not to trade with Iran. And who does that hurt? That hurts the United States American people. That hurts the United States American people. And once again, as I was stating with Russia, Russia seems to have no choice but to do deals with Iran. Take a look at this. Russia is suffering from a slow-motion bank run as the Kremlin scavenges for war funding, and it may start seizing recruits for the military too. So they're in a quagmire right now with Ukraine. Ukraine is destroying their fucking infrastructure to the point where, I mean, there's gas shortages, for Christ's sake. This is why there's a run on the banks right now over there in Russia. All right, take a look at this. Russia scrambles to restore fuel supplies as refineries resume operations. And it's because the Ukrainians have been destroying these oil fields, the refineries specifically, that it's affecting the whole goddamn economy. So how else are they going to get energy resources while at the same time trying to bring up their refineries back online? Where are they going to get them? They've got to go through Iran. Unless we give it to them. All right? Unless we give it to them. That's the only way we have this economic D-Day on Iran, is if we bribe Russia and China, because we certainly can't strong-arm them into doing it. I mean, us in this quagmire with Iran is not, going to be... it's not making us look like we have the bully capability to be able to force China and Russia to do anything. So we're going to have to bribe them. And, of course, that's going to be to our disadvantage. I mean, we're going to be the ones suffering. All right? We're going to be the ones suffering. Now, there are those optimistic viewpoints that the growing Russia fuel crisis could end the Ukraine war. I disagree. As I've stated, as Putin continues to get more and more desperate, he's going to expand the war. Because now, it's not just about winning the war anymore. It's about sustaining his power. And as long as the war keeps going on, nobody within inside Russia is going to assassinate or eliminate or remove Putin from power, because then this whole Ukrainian problem, the whole war, is on their hands now. And if they remove Putin and then they pull out from the Ukrainian war, it makes the, whoever was going to take out Putin look like a fucking chump. All right? It's going to make him look like chumps. So, I mean, the only thing that fucking Russia has to do right now is to keep the war going in order for Putin to sustain power. That's the only card that Putin has left. All right, that's the only card that he has left. That's it. It's over. All right? And not to mention, take a look at this. And this is why I grouped in China with Russia as it pertains to its dealings with Iran. Because take a look at this. Ukraine's offensive against Russia causes a petrol panic across Central Asia. Because, once again, Russia was the world's, gas station. But, since Ukraine has been devastating their oil production and their refineries, it now jeopardizes an oil and gas crisis into China and into the other Asian countries. So this is kind of our fault. I mean, because look, the oil resources from the Arabian countries can't go through the Strait of Hormuz. So Asia and Eastern Europe, they can't get oil and energy resources from there. Okay, now you've got Ukraine destroying the energy resources of Russia. So what is Asia going to do? What are they going to do? I mean, they're going to have to be forced to go to Iran, who has plentiful resources and has a shorter ability to be able to deliver those energy resources, unless the United States is going to bribe them with oil that we either got from Venezuela, because apparently there's a lot of oil from Venezuela coming out, or some of our domestic production. Or we're going to bribe them with a little bit of our livestock, because I believe that's why Trump is dumping 300 tons of poverty beef in the United States markets, in order for the United States to give away our beef to Russia and China for them to not deal with fucking Iran. That's what this shit's all about. Because I'm going to say it, I'm going to keep saying it. Repetitiveness is something that you people need for some reason. We're not going to be able to bully Russia and China to stop dealing with Iran. We're going to have to bribe them. We're going to have to bribe them. So, I don't know how y'all feel about that. I don't know how that makes us look like a superpower when we've got to bribe countries in order for us to hurt a country that we started a war with. You know? I have no idea. Now, take a look at this. Not only is Ukraine hitting up the resources of energy of Russia, they're also hitting up actual companies of Russia. I talked about on the last TCR that they hit up the Wildberries Corporation over there in Russia, which is the Russian Amazon.com, pretty much. So they're hitting them up, okay? Now they struck the second largest e-commerce organization called Ozon. All right, Ukraine launches drone strikes on Russia's e-commerce giant Ozon. So they're trying to hurt the economy of Russia in more ways than one. And this is getting Putin very desperate that I'm telling you in 24, and I'm telling you now, he's going to expand the war and he's going to move to Europe. He's going to continue going west because Putin, I mean, the Ukrainian strikes on infrastructure like this are meant to cause a domestic upheaval. Now, the only way that he can't, or he can stop a domestic upheaval is if he prolongs the war. I just told you that he's trying to aggregate more troops. He's going to try to force recruitment. All right, he's going to try to force recruitment on Russians. So that's another way of quashing any domestic upheaval by forcing people to go out and fight this fucking war and fight the expansion of the war. Now, what kind of expansion are you talking about, Ghost? I mean, you know, expansion? Well, he's trying to recruit, according to Zelensky, another 300,000 new troops. All right, I reported on the last True Capitalist Radio, North Korea is going to give him another 60,000 troops. Now, as I stated many times, even going before the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, that Russia's war strategy, going back 1,000 years, is throwing massive waves after waves of bodies of Russian soldiers in order to overwhelm the enemy, in order for the enemy to capitulate. And that warfare strategy, which is something that Russia has done ever since its existence, works about 50% of the time. And as you can see, Putin is continuing with that war strategy, and Zelensky is using technologies, particularly drone technology, in order to offset the conscripts that Putin continues to deliver into the war theater. All right? So it doesn't look like Putin is going to stop, you know? And the only way this continues and allows him to sustain power is if he continues the war into Europe. And here's another article. Russia's covert mobilization reaches at least 17 regions as forced recruitment surges. So he's going to expand the war, dude. All right, and he's going to continue going west. And like Red Eyes Black Dragon said on a Rumble rant, the Baltic states are fucked. All right? The Baltic states are fucked. As a matter of fact, I think EU states are on the table for Russia at this point in time. And the reason I say this is because the Europeans and their leaders decided to celebrate the Ukrainians' 35th Independence Day anniversary as the Russia invasion pushes on. Now, what would cause all the European leaders to go and visit Ukraine? Well, the fact that they know that Russia is going to move west. These dumbass Europeans are not as dumb as they look. They know Putin is going to continue going forward. And unfortunately, Trump has left them high and dry and has pretty much said that he's not going to protect EU countries if Russia goes in. As a matter of fact, I think Trump said one time, I mean, maybe he should go in. Maybe they need to go in, which is ridiculous. But take a look at this. UK has decided to up the ante with their new prime minister. Burnham is the name of the new prime minister. He's going to supply missiles to Ukraine in order for Ukraine to continue the war with Russia. And these are sophisticated missiles here. All right, long-range missiles. All right, this is his first major move as the Prime Minister of UK. Now, of course, Merz, who they talk about in this headline here, is the Chancellor of Germany. He's trying to take a little pussy-whipped approach at approaching Russia, but I think that most of the European nations know that Russia's going to continue, and the only thing that at least the UK can do at this point is supply weapons in order to stop Russia's push from going west. All right? And it's not just UK. Okay, even though Merz from Germany is not necessarily down with doing anything with the Ukrainians, the EU, the European Union, just green-lighted $7 billion in defense loans on the Ukrainian Independence Day. So this idea by the optimist that the energy crisis in Russia could potentially end the war, that is ridiculous. All right, the actions speak differently. All right, the actions absolutely speak differently. So you got UK supplying missiles. You've got the EU hooking up $7 billion in order for the Ukrainians to continue their fight with Russia. So it looks like, in my opinion, Putin could continue going west. I mean, Moldova, Baltic states, Iceland. They're all on the table, in my opinion. They're all on the table. So, a fat chance if you actually think that this is all going to fucking end, all right? Anyway, I'm already on here for 2 hours. I'm going to run down what I've got left, all right? Let's talk a little bit about Israel, okay? Now, Israel is continuing its, whatever you want to call it, in Gaza, all right? Which is pretty much, seek and destroy mission in Gaza and the rest of Palestine. And now the Palestinians are taking whatever resources necessary in order to try to, have some kind of an attack on Israel. And they have resorted to kites. I'm not joking. Israel accused of using kites as a pretext to justifying escalating Gaza attacks. Israel has threatened Palestinian groups against launching kites, drones, and balloons from the war-torn enclave. So, I mean, what is Israel doing here? All right? I mean, what's the objective? I mean, I'm not against Israel at all, but, I mean, you can't but look and observe and recognize that Israel, at least from face value, as long as they've been in there post-October 7th, they have done nothing but seek and destroy. What exactly is the objective here? I mean, because the objective looks a little bit like they're genociding. Look, I'm not trying to be somebody who's anti-Israel here. But, I mean, what's the goal? I mean, the goal, in my opinion, is just to eliminate these people. All right? And they're using kites and balloons as justification to go in there and kill children and kill women. And it's a disgrace what has happened here. And, the people of Israel, I know, didn't want this. But much like us in the United States, they elected Benjamin Netanyahu again. And Netanyahu thinks that he has some fucking mandate to do whatever the fuck he wants. All right? I mean, he thinks he's got a mandate to do whatever the fuck he wants. So much so that over the week, or I should say over the weekend, Israel decided to attack Turkey. All right? Take a look at this. U.S. cries foul as Israel bombs Turkey-linked airbase in Syria. All right? Tel Aviv's quest to portray Ankara as the new Iran is leading to tensions even with the Trump administration. All right? So not only is Israel doing whatever they're doing in Gaza, which looks like a genocide, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really look good. I mean, it doesn't look like Western civilization warfare. Let's just put it that way. And then they hit up the Lebanese, which they're doing the same policy that they're doing in Gaza in Lebanon. And now they're poking the eye of Turkey in this. Turkey is a fucking NATO ally. And lest we forget, Trump is considering leaving NATO. And I think it's convenient that Trump is going to leave NATO because right after he hinted that he could possibly do it, Israel hits up Turkey. So, I mean, for heaven's sake, dude, I mean, this is getting out of hand here. All right? I mean, the Israeli people, and this is who the United States needs to appeal to. All right? Because you're certainly not going to appeal to the people that are in charge of the Israeli government. You've got to appeal to the Israeli people because they're not for this. They're not for this. Unfortunately, much like the United States, they're dealing with a regime that they voted in that thinks they have a mandate to do whatever the fuck they want. That's what Trump is doing, for Christ's sake. That's what Trump is doing. And it's going to be very interesting to see how Turkey responds to this. I know currently there is some kind of a preliminary type talk going on in Syria about this, but I don't think it's going to result into anything. All right, so once again, Israel putting us in even more and more wars that we're affiliated with. I mean, you know, because Trump is so close to Israel, we are affiliated with whatever the hell Israel does. Okay, we are affiliated with this. So I don't know what to say, man. I have no idea what to say. Arrogant bastard looking at the painter's past and decide to go by that playbook. Well, thank you there, man. All right, let's continue, man. Let's go over to South Korea. I remember I talked on the last broadcast that Trump was going to cancel the South Korean military drills with the United States forces. Right after he did that, you had North Korea decide to throw a couple of missiles into the sea around there, okay? Prompting that, hey, I may go in and take over South Korea, you know? Take a look at this. South Korea says U.S. canceled upcoming joint marine exercise over Iran war. And look, the reason Trump is pulling the troops from here is because he said that South Korea didn't offer any help. Didn't offer any help in the Iran war. So this is Trump's way of punishing the South Koreans by pulling troops and canceling military exercises. Okay? So that's what Trump is doing. He's punishing people that aren't accommodating him on his failed war. All right? So he's punishing them. So we're not making friends with everybody. I mean, these are our allies, for Christ's sake. These are our allies, and we're pissing all over our allies. We're sucking the cocks of our enemies. I mean, I tried to tell you that this was going to be the foreign policy of Trump back in 24, and you idiots thought you knew better. Look at us now. I mean, if you want my opinion, Trump is trying to position most countries into a world war, if you want my opinion, which is also what I prognosticated. All right, so, I mean, what is South Korea to do? I mean, now that we're not going to be, you know, they can't depend on us for any kind of military backing. Well, South Korean president said that everybody must brace for the worst case scenario. Thanks to Trump and its military cuts to its drills and shit. Worst case scenario. So, as I was stating, man, we're in some bad times right now in the world today. Bad fucking times. And of course, much like in Israel, which most of the Israeli people are against Benjamin Netanyahu's bullshit, we're in the same situation. You all overwhelmingly elected Trump, and he thinks he has a mandate to do all this bullshit, and there's nothing you can do about it. He's already president. All right, he's got a Republican majority in Congress. All right, he thinks that, hey, look, I'm going to do it. You voted me in, so, you just got to deal with it. And look at you people. What are y'all doing? All you're doing is pissing and moaning in chat rooms and on social media. That doesn't mean shit. All right, we need people running for shit. And the only people running for shit out here are immigrants. And fucking weirdos. All right, and fucking sociopaths. Those are the only people that are running for anything. So here we are, man, pissing on our allies. I don't know. I hope y'all voted for this. I want y'all to know y'all voted for this shit. All right? Now let's go on to China here really fast. China's view of Trump's America has changed from alarm to shrug. Like, who gives a shit? All right? I mean, that's how bad we have fallen on the superpower status that we held during Anthony Blinken's reign during the Biden administration of the foreign policy, we have fallen to merely a shrug from China. We are being disregarded as any kind of a threat anymore because of this Iran debacle. And as I stated, I think that Hegseth needs to be held accountable for this incompetence because it throws us back foreign policy-wise 50 years. Throws us back 50 fucking years in foreign policy. We look like chumps. All right, China doesn't give a shit. We could say whatever the fuck we want. China's like, who gives a shit? Because we're fucking chumps now. I mean, dumbass Hegseth doesn't know the first fucking thing about foreign policy, let alone war strategy. And here we are. And guess what? While we're out here bogged down in Iran and threatening everybody and, threatening Greenland and threatening fucking our EU allies and threatening fucking Canada, threatening everybody. China is developing missiles that can target planes thousands of miles away. All right, so they're continuing to develop their weapons, okay? Not only are they developing weapons of missiles that can hit planes thousands of miles away, they're accelerating their robotics arm of their military, okay? And look, this is by The Economist, which, they think they're very smart over there, but they really aren't. China will struggle to make money from humanoid robots. I don't think they care. I don't think that the humanoid robot or the robotics business is about making money. It's about military assets for China. It needs to grow its military assets at an accelerated rate because, lest we forget, I had covered, I think about a year or two ago, that Xi Jinping had fired a bunch of folks that were high-ranking in the military after the regime of Xi Jinping found out that most of their nuclear weapons were nothing more than rockets that were filled with water. Okay? So when the Chinese found out about that, they fired, and I think they put to death, a couple of those generals, and they accelerated their hardware, military hardware. They accelerated. So I don't think they give a shit about making money on these robots. I think that they want this to be used in warfare, whether it's in their own domestic situation. They're already rolling these out to patrol the streets of China, believe it or not, but to also roll them out into other areas of warfare. Maybe even give them to Iran or one of their allies in order to aid their military might. I think that's what this is all about. I don't think they care. Remember, they're communists. They don't care about selling robots. They're the manufacturing base of the world. Okay? They manufacture a bunch of shit. This isn't about selling robots, economist. Jesus fucking Christ. And by the way, even though Trump tried to ban all these semiconductors and all these AI chips from going to China, they're still going there and getting there. This is out of Taiwan. Take a look at this. NVIDIA senior manager linked to super micro scheme smuggling AI servers to China. Taiwan has indicted 9 people, reportedly including an NVIDIA senior manager and 2 Supermicro employees based in the country who allegedly helped forge documents to cover up illegal exports of high-end AI servers to China in violation of U.S. export controls. So look, if we can't even enforce China and prevent them from buying NVIDIA chips and AI servers, how the fuck are we going to enforce them against doing any business with Iran? How are we going to do this? This fucking economic D-Day bullshit just, look, it's bad enough that we're writing checks our asses can't cash. This economic D-Day is a huge blunder because we have no power to enforce this. We're going to have to fucking bribe these people, and I don't even know if that's even going to work. Because this was supposed to prevent China from getting any of these NVIDIA chips, NVIDIA servers. Look at them now. So I don't know how any of this economic D-Day is going to be enforced, because we're not enforcing anything against fucking Iran, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. I've already been on here for 2 hours and almost 15 minutes. Let's get to the totally useless news segment of the broadcast, and I'm going to get the hell out of here. Speaking of which, okay, even though this is in the totally useless news segment, it has relations to the military. Now, recruitment, as much as Hegseth it says that recruitment is up, that's why I always tell you, don't believe a damn thing that this administration is saying. They are complete liars. If recruitment was up, then why is the U.S. Army offering this? Take a look at this. U.S. Army unit offers time off for GTA 6 in exchange for re-enlistment. Will the promise of time off for Grand Theft Auto 6 entice U.S. soldiers to re-enlist? The commander of one battalion is offering troops who sign up for more years of service 4 days off for the November 19th launch of the highly anticipated game. Soldiers from Fort Stewart, Georgia-based 9th Brigade Engineer Battalion who re-enlist between August 1st and November 14th will qualify for the special 4-day pass, according to a memo from a unit commander, Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Hodgkinson, as reported this week by the Task and Purpose military news site. So, I mean, come on. What the fuck? What the fuck? We're going to give troops that re-enlist time off for GTA 6? I mean, hey, as I was mentioning earlier about this beset economic D-Day bullshit, Operation Outcast, or whatever the fuck it's called, how the fuck are we going to enforce it when we can't even have military that enlist without offering them video game time? Without offering them fucking video game time! Oh, God. Man-child America, folks. Man-child America is what we live in this country. All right, let's do one more. You know, if this is what I just showed you, you know, that trying to offer re-enlistments for Grand Theft Auto 6 time, if that doesn't give you a sign that America's not doing well, maybe this will, okay? Take a look at this totally useless news. Detroit schools are going to pay students $100 a week in order to have perfect attendance in school. Okay? I'm not joking. $100 a week to pay a bunch of brats to go to school, for Christ's sake. I mean, look, I have been a proponent to end public education as we know it. We need to end public education as we know it, and we need to change the laws around children. Because, look, children right now, especially juvenile delinquents, can do whatever the fuck they want. They could murder somebody and be out in the streets when they turn 18 years of age. Okay? Obviously, the juvenile delinquent laws are not a deterrent to prevent juvenile delinquent crime. So what we need to do is we need to change the law. We need to abolish education. And we need to make laws that any child under the age of 18 that commits a crime, the parents or the guardians of that child will also be punished legally. All right, aside from sending the brat to juvenile hall, we need to send the parents to jail. And I guarantee you, if we had a law in which parents were responsible for the juvenile delinquency of their children, I guarantee you all this juvenile delinquency would solve itself up within a year or two. All right? Because then it puts the burden of responsibility of the child on the parent where it should be. Not some stupid school. All right? Because look, I mean, you know, y'all went to public education. You spend more time at a public school than you do with your own goddamn family. And most of you, I mean, I hate to say it, didn't learn a goddamn thing by going to public education. We spend so much on public education, everybody in America should belong to Mensa. All right? I mean, everybody should be a fucking genius right now, and we are dumber than dirt. All right? The average American person can't even fucking read, for Christ's sake. All right? We are dumber than dirt. And as I stated many times, and I will continue to say this, if I was leader, I would round up every public educator and college educator and throw them in fucking jail for what they have done to this country. They have dumbed down this country to the point where it's now a threat to our national security. And if you're a teacher or if you're an administrator, or if you're a professor, you're a piece of shit. You're no different than some fucking Nazi guard right there by the fucking door, guarding the door of the goddamn oven that they were throwing people in. You fucking piece of shit. All right? I can't stand it. It's back to school time. Back to school time. Oh, I'm going to pay for a teacher's school supply. Fuck the teachers, all right? Fuck the teachers. Fuck the administrators. Fuck the professors. Fuck them all. They have no conscience whatsoever. They go to work, push the clock, and they think that they're doing something because they commiserate with each other's bureaucratic asses. All in while, they are dumbing down the American public and making us reduced to nothing more than a bunch of half-tards is what we are. A bunch of half-tards. And now, because nobody's going to school anymore, the fucking schools are now paying fucking brats to go to school. Unfucking believable. Take this shit off of here. And Red Eyes Black Dragon, give $20 to Democratic black kids to show up to school. Well, look, the schools are dependent upon how many students are in the school physically. I mean, that's how schools get paid. They get paid by the state and the federal government by as many students are attending that school. So if they give them a mere couple of bucks off of the money that they get from the federal government and the state government to sustain their stupid fucking jobs, they're going to do it. And this is case in point. This should go to show you that teachers don't give a shit about your fucking children. They don't give a shit about the community. They don't give a shit about anything. And by the way, most of the teachers in America are a bunch of old club whores that are used up, where their vaginas are like fucking, hot dogs down hallways and shit, that are now becoming teachers and are raping our fucking males that are 13, 14, 15 years of age. Huh? That's great. That's fucking great. That's fucking great. Fuck you if you're a teacher. I can't fucking stand you fucking teachers. You know that? You people are fucking trash. You people have done more to this country to destroy this country from within than the fucking terrorists. All right? Fucking teachers. Fuck you. I spit in your fucking... Puh! I spit in your fucking faces, you fucking soulless bureaucratic pieces of shit. Get the fuck out of here with that crap. I'm not joking. Hey, when I see a teacher, I'll either have them removed or I'll physically remove them myself. All right? You people make me sick. How you can fucking go to sleep and wake up every morning knowing that you're damaging the fucking country. Fuck you. Anyway, last but not least, all right, this is a little bit more lighthearted, okay? On the Ghost Show, which, by the way, I'm going to have a Ghost Show tomorrow, which is a lot different from this show. It's a little bit of a tomfoolery show. It's, kind of adult joke-related kind of thing. But on the Ghost Show, I made a joke, okay? Because, I don't know, we got a lot of homosexuals trying to project their homosexuality on me, all right? And I made a joke that, dude, I am so not gay that I barely wipe my ass because I think it's gay, right? And of course, it was a joke, and because we have nobody anymore that understands sarcasm, we got a bunch of autists that are like, what? That's what you really mean? Oh, yeah, you don't like the wife? You got a dirty ass? It's a joke, all right? It's a joke, but guess what? Because I said it, meme magic is all I got to say, all right? Meme magic is all I got to say. Take a look at RFK Jr., okay? Take a look at RFK Jr. RFK Jr.'s doctor says proper poop like his are wipe-free and nearly orgasmic. Now, I don't know about the orgasmic part. I've always made a joke that most of the people that talk shit to me question their sexuality every time they take a big shit. All right, so I don't know about orgasmic, but wipe free. Like, fucking RFK Jr. doesn't wipe. All right? Talk about meme magic. I'm telling you right now, I don't know if it's life imitating art or art imitating life. I don't know. You got to be the judge of that. I have no fucking idea. But anyway, let me get the hell out of here. All right, that concludes the totally useless news segment. Anyway, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. All right, if you'd like to see more of these shows, please support the show, whether hooking up buymeacoffee.com messages or hooking it up with Rumble Rants. Or if you really want to support the show, go right here. And cheers to BN King. That's for the Ghost Show tomorrow, the 4 beers for Ghost Show tomorrow. Become a member of the True Capitalist Radio membership. All right? You'll be supporting the show, and at the same time, new members are going to be getting the cards that I give away on the Pressure Luck Picker Wheel over there at the Ghost Show. All right? So if you're a new member, you'll be getting the Ghost card, and every month that you're going to be getting a new card. By the way, existing paying members they're going to be sent out the newest card, which is the Mrs. Ghostest card. And these are trading cards. They're fun. You know, it's a little bit of merch, you know, that sort of thing. But anyway, you'd be supporting the show, and more True Capitalist Radio shows will be in the future, if we get more members and have people want a demand for this, all right? I don't see too much of a demand for this. I only do this because I know our country's being flushed down the fucking toilet, and I feel that it's in my duty, all right, to go and do something in order to spark synapses. But unfortunately, as I mentioned, most people in America are fucking idiots. If we put 60% of the American entitlement recipients together, they may have enough intelligence to tie their shoe, all right? So with that being said, I want to say thank you all for tuning in to this serious True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And thank everybody for hooking it up with a Buy Me a Coffee message or a Rumble Rant. I cheers to you and anybody who becomes a member. All right, all you got to do is go to buymeacoffee.com/GhostPolitics, the link that's on top of the bottom of the screen there, and become a member. That's the best way to support the broadcast, and you'll be an exclusive member to the True Capitalist Radio member chat as well. All right, thank you all for tuning in. There will be a Ghost Show tomorrow. We've already got 3 videos, all right, and we play the videos as they come in. So I want to say cheers to Murky Long, even though he was being a dickhead on the Buy Me a Coffee messages. Man Bear Pig, who also hooked it up with a video tomorrow, and BN King, who hooked it up with a video tomorrow. So if you want your video played early, hook them up now. All right, 5 beers for a video on the Ghost Show tomorrow. And remember, you dictate the content on the Ghost Show. So if you don't like what we're watching and shit, well then do something about it and hook it up with a video. And hold on, what did you say, Haywood? Haywood just did something. What are you saying here? Yep, trading cards. Yeah, fuck off. All right, Haywood. What are you talking shit about? You have the Ghost card. You take your Ghost card everywhere you go. I don't know if you know this, but Haywood's a part of the inner circle, and he takes the Ghost card and takes a picture with it everywhere he fucking goes. And he's going to sit here and talk trash? Fuck you, Haywood. You're fucking high on kratom, for Christ's sake. You're reducing your goddamn brain into a fucking peanut, for Christ's sake, and your intelligence is going along with it. So why don't you just sit there and shut your fucking disgusting, raspy-sounding, piggish, power-bottom, fucking in-the-closet, socialist, schlonghead, fruit bowl, anal secretion-loving ass up. All right? So anyway, with that being said, thank everybody for tuning in with me. Ghost Show tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And once again, if you enjoy the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, we're going to be doing the True Capitalist Radio broadcast every Monday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And once again, make sure to support the True Capitalist Radio broadcast if you want even more of it, man. All right. Until next time, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Be political. Take your political process serious. Make sure to vote. Make sure to participate in the political process. And make sure to have true ideas and not be goofed by a bunch of dumbass idiots that are running for office that are saying nothing more than a bunch of abstract language that doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean shit. Anyway, until next time, follow me on X. All right, The Ghost Report, all one word, no underscores. There it is right here. Put the PC shot on. Follow me on X. And by the way, we are broadcasting the True Capitalist Radio on X as well. Cheers to the 130 people that are watching us over there. Anyway, until next time, I'm out of here.